So this is going to save him $168.78 a month, or over $2,000 a year, $2,025.36. You could go on a cruise with that money, do something fun instead of overpaying for Medicare, right? So there's some really big savings here you see just by shopping these plans. I'm Erica Smiley with Medicare School, and today in this video, we're going to do a review of supplemental plans, talk about why you should shop them, how you can shop them, and the potential savings that may save you thousands of dollars each year. All right, so let's do a quick overview of why a lot of people love supplemental plans. So when I talk about supplemental plans, or I say Medigap plans, those words are kind of used interchangeably, okay? These are plans that are added to work with original Medicare. So you'd be enrolled in Medicare A and B, then you'd have your supplemental plan, like a Plan G or a Plan N, and then you'd have a separate Part D drug plan, okay? So this is a route some people go instead of choosing Medicare Advantage plans. So let's do a quick recap of why a lot of people really love supplemental plans and kind of some of the benefits. Well, first of all, these are lifetime policies and they're portable. So just like I said in my opening, they're not going to change yearly, right? They're not going to take your plan away, change your plan, how it covers, things like that. This is truly a lifetime policy. They can never take it away from you because you're getting older or sicker. So as long as you pay your monthly premium, it's yours for life. Also, they're portable. So if you move from one state to another state, you don't have to worry about getting a new supplemental plan. You can take your plan with you. Another thing people love are there are no networks. So, Advantage plans are HMOs, PPOs, they have networks. They're more like regional, local plans. The supplemental plans, you can see any doctor in the United States that accepts original Medicare, and that's about 98% of doctors, okay? So if you travel, you're a snowbird, maybe you're half the year in one state, half the year in the other state, you can go to any doctor in the U.S. as long as they take original Medicare. So that's a big perk. There's less hassle than there are with Advantage plans with prior authorizations and referrals. So if you guys don't know, a prior authorization is just the insurance company having to approve something, right? A lot of Advantage plans, if your doctor says you need a hip replacement or a knee replacement, the insurance company may say, well, no, they have to go through 8 weeks of physical therapy first before we'll approve that. You don't have as many of those prior authorizations with a supplemental plan. Also, you don't have to get referrals to go to a specialist. You can just book directly with that specialist. Another thing people like, it's very comprehensive coverage with really no surprises. So when you have a supplemental plan, if you're trying to budget your money for the year, if I get this Plan G, okay, it's going to cost me $185 a month, right? Or $160 a month, whatever it costs in your area. So you know what your monthly premium is, and outside of that, you know what's covered. If you have a Plan G, all you have to pay is the once a year Part B deductible, and this year that is $283, okay? Then everything else is covered. So there's no major surprises. With the Advantage plans, they're kind of a pay-as-you-go system, and you could get hit with some really big bills that you're not expecting that can go all the way up to thousands and thousands of dollars, right? So you can budget a little bit better and know what to expect when you have one of these supplemental plans. Another reason people like them, they're accepted at all of the major medical centers. So whether that's Cleveland Clinic, Mayo Clinic, MD Anderson, they accept these supplemental plans where they've not been accepting. They're less and less more likely to accept Advantage plans. So these are just some of the perks of why people like supplemental plans. All right, so let's talk about what are the most popular or common supplemental plans that are out there on the market to date. So first of all, we have Plan F, okay? And again, these plans work with original Medicare to fill the gaps of Medicare. So the Plan F was great. It filled all 6 of the gaps in Medicare. So literally, you paid your monthly premium, and then after that, you paid $0 for the rest of the year. You never get a bill, okay? Now, you can only get this if you were eligible for Medicare before January 1st of 2020. So if you do have an F plan, that means you signed up for Medicare well past January 1st of 2020, and you have that F plan now. Now, this F plan might be getting very pricey because we see these rates going up. I've talked to people who are paying like $500 a month for a Plan F, okay? So great coverage, but those of you who have them, they're getting pricier. Let's look at the next plan. The next plan, the most popular, is a G plan, okay? And this covers 5 out of the 6 gaps of Medicare. So again, very comprehensive coverage. So you pay your monthly premium for your Plan G, and then on top of that, all you pay is the once a year Part B deductible. And this year, that is $283 for 2026, okay? So again, very comprehensive, not much difference between the F and the Plan G. Now let's look at the Plan N, also very popular. So Plan N is just a step down from the G, and it covers 4 out of the 6 gaps of Medicare. So what's the difference? Well, with that Plan N, you pay your monthly premium, okay? So depending on where you live, if you're male or female, those premiums are going to vary from state to state. But pretty much you pay your monthly premium just like you do with the Plan G, and then you also pay the $283 Part B deductible. So you're paying for that first $283 of your care, and then the plan kicks in, okay? Now, unlike the G plan, the only difference is with the Plan N is when you go to the doctor, you have to pay a small copay. So you have to pay about a $20 copay to go to the doctor, about a $50 copay to go to the emergency room, okay? And then there's something called excess charges. So a lot of people get a little scared about excess charges, and they're like, you know, what is this? Well, an excess charge means if there's a doctor who does not accept Medicare assignment, they could charge you 15% over the allowed amount. Now, I'll tell you, there are 8 states where this is not even legal, okay? So Connecticut, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Vermont. If you live in one of those states, they're not allowed to charge excess charges. For the rest of you, all you have to do is when you go to a new doctor or your doctor, you just say, hey, do you accept Medicare assignment or are you participating? If they say yes, you're not going to have to worry about those excess charges. If you're more comfortable, you can also go to Medicare.gov, and there's a button that says find a provider. You just plug in your doctor's name and it'll tell you right there under the doctor's name, this doctor accepts assignment, so you pay less, okay? So that's the difference between the G and the N. You have those small copays when you go to the doctor or the emergency room, and then also you could have excess charges, but it's super, super rare. So now that we've reviewed supplemental plans, what they are and the most popular are, let's talk a little bit about some reasons why people may not be shopping or comparing them. So it's not that you have to do this every single year, but I would say if you've had the same supplemental plan for a good 3 to 5 years, maybe you've seen some rate increases, it's starting to get more pricey, and you might want to compare and shop. So what's the reason some people don't do this? Well, some people might think, oh, well, it's risky to switch, or it's really time consuming or risky, but it's really not. We're going to talk to you today about how easy it is to shop and compare these supplemental plans. Other people might think, hey, I'm on the best plan. I trust my guide. I worked with Medicare School 2 years ago. They put me on a G plan. They said it's the best. Well, yeah, you are on a great plan. All the supplemental plans are great, but if it's getting really expensive, we may be able to reshop and get you a better rate on that same plan, or maybe take you down to an N plan if you're open to that. If you're on an expensive F plan, maybe we bring you down to a G, okay? A lot of people think, well, what if the coverage is different? What I really like XYZ company. What if I go to ABC company and they don't take care of me? Well, first of all, a G is a G is a G. An N's an N's an N, right? They're all going to cover the same. So the coverage isn't going to change, just your cost, okay? So you don't have to worry about the coverage changing. Also, you don't really have to worry about what company provides better coverage, because again, there's no networks, and these plans are regulated by the government. So for a G plan, no matter which company you're with, it's all the same. You pay your monthly premium and you pay that Part B deductible. After that, everything else is covered. If you're one of our clients here at Medicare School, we say all the time, we're your customer service, right? So we don't even tell people to worry about customer service. You have a problem, you call us, okay? But these are some of the misconceptions of why maybe people haven't shopped or they don't want to shop supplemental plans. I think a lot of people just don't know that they can, right? The plan is set up and they just don't think about it. But again, sometimes you see those price increases. I talk to people all the time who are paying upwards of like $350, paying a lot of money for these plans where we can help you get a better rate. So one thing that's important to note, their company's not just going to increase your premium, right? It's going to be your whole group that you're in with. So it's not like these are individual increases because you've had a lot of surgeries or because you've been sick, right? These are group hikes where if you're getting the price increase, everyone's getting the price increase, okay? With your company in that pool that you're in. So let's look at when it might make sense for you to compare and shop your supplemental plan. First of all, if you're one of those people, one of my Plan F people who have eligible for Medicare before 1/1 of 2020 and you're on a Plan F, we could possibly shop and get you a less expensive Plan F, or if you're healthy, we could put you through medical underwriting. You could go to a Plan G or possibly even a Plan N and save a lot of money because those Plan Fs are getting pricier and pricier. Again, it was excellent coverage with 6 out of the 6 gaps covered, but you're paying a lot for that. So a lot of people are wanting to go from an F to a G. Now I talk about medical underwriting, we'll talk about that more. Depending on what state you live in, there is something called a birthday rule or an anniversary rule, and we'll kind of cover that. But medical underwriting is simply 30 to 35 questions about your health, okay? So they're gonna ask major things about like heart conditions, lung conditions, diabetes, high blood pressure, things like that, okay? And now that's not saying if you have high blood pressure, you can't get approved through medical underwriting. Sometimes you can, but it's not a physical exam, it's just questions, and it takes like maybe 10 minutes. So if you are a person who can possibly shop and compare, our guides can help take you through that and kind of ask you those questions and see if we can get you through medical underwriting. So if you are on one of those expensive Plan Fs, I would definitely reach out to us and see about getting a better rate or getting into a Plan G, okay? So let's say you can no longer afford your supplemental plan. So you're just on a tighter budget, right? You have your Plan G, you love your Plan G, but you can't afford it anymore. It's not in your budget. Well, a lot of people think, I guess I gotta go to an Advantage plan. I gotta go to the Advantage system. I just can't afford this anymore. But definitely reach out to us first. We can help you compare. Is there a G for a better rate? Or let's talk about taking you down to an N. I'm gonna show you some figures here of what you can save, but people all the time could save anywhere from $60 or more a month going from a G to an N, depending on where you live. Okay, so yeah, that brings us right here. If you're on a G plan and it's gotten pricey and you think I want to drop down, you might be able to go to a Plan N, okay? It can save a lot of people money, and really other than those copays you pay at the doctor, there's not a big difference between those two plans, okay? Maybe your rate hikes are just outpacing inflation. I heard somebody this last year, they said they had an $80 price increase per month on their Plan G. So maybe you're just getting some bigger price hikes. You're like, hey, this is just too much. It shouldn't be going up this much, okay? Another factor is, are you healthy enough to pass underwriting? So if you've had major health issues or heart issues or things like that, we may not be able to get you through underwriting. But if you're fairly healthy, you don't have any major chronic conditions, you've not been hospitalized lately, definitely shop and compare, because it just takes a few minutes and it doesn't hurt to try. If you don't pass medical underwriting, no big deal. You just stay on the plan you're on, okay? Let's say you've been on the same plan for years. So again, you've been on this G plan for 10 years or 8 years or whatever. Sometimes it's a good plan just to shop because you could save money in your monthly premium, but it's also going to kind of reset the clock for you and get you in a fresh pool or fresh group of people as far as that G plan goes. Okay, so let's take a look at some real numbers of what you could actually save by shopping these different plans. These are real life scenarios, and this comes from, hopefully you can see this in my writing, Medicare Compare.com, okay? So this is a website we have, MedicAppCompare.com, where you can go on there and you can find out super quickly in 60 seconds how much money you can save. So these are numbers we pulled actually from that site. And this is a gentleman we're looking at. We got a male, 75 years old, on a Plan F. Okay, now this person lives in Georgia. So Georgia, we've got the zip code here, 30002. And this is showing that on this Plan F, this gentleman was paying $309.82 per month. And I can tell you, I've heard of Plan Fs that are a lot more expensive than that. So when we went to MedicAppCompare.com and we looked at what we could save this individual, if we just shopped him on a different Plan F, so not changing the plan at all, right? Keeping him on a Plan F, we found that we could get that Plan F for $214 $1,059.43. So this person could be saving almost $70 a month on that plan, which adds up to about $820 a year. On the same Plan F. Still have all 6 gaps covered, right? But just paying a much lower premium. Okay, so if this person decides, and they can medically qualify, that they're going to go on a Plan G, then we could find this gentleman a Plan G in his area in Georgia for $184.04 a month. So if you look at that, that's over $125 a month this person's saving on their premium, which adds up to $1,509 a year. That's some pretty significant savings, okay? And again, the G is just a step down from the F. So all this person's paying, the only difference is that extra $283 for that Part B deductible, okay? So totally worth it. Now, if this person wants to go from a Plan F to a Plan N, we could find an N for this gentleman in Georgia for $141.04. Huge savings. So this is going to save him $168.78 a month, or over $2,000 a year, $2,025.36. You could go on a cruise with that money. Do something fun instead of overpaying for Medicare, right? So there's some really big savings here you see just by shopping these plans, okay? And again, yes, you might have to go through medical underwriting to go from one of these plans to another, but our guides know, which companies ask which questions. We can do our best to help you get through medical underwriting. And if you wouldn't have passed, no harm done, right? It's 10 minutes to save thousands and thousands of dollars. If he doesn't pass medical underwriting, then he's still got his Plan F. Okay, so we walked through the person on the Plan F and what their savings could look like. Let's look at some different scenarios of people on Plan G. So again, people on Plan G, they're obviously not going to go up to a more expensive Plan F, right? They're either going to go like to like or like to less. So they're going to go to another G plan at a better rate, or they're going to go to an N plan, okay? So first of all, let's look at this lady here. We have a female, 69 years old in California, 90040 was her zip code, and she was paying $234.87 a month for that Plan G. So now when we shopped, we were able to bring her price down to $206.05 for another G plan with another carrier, which is going to save her about $28.82 a month. So, not huge bank-breaking stuff, but still that adds up to $345 a year that this lady could save just by taking a few minutes to get on a different G plan, okay? Same coverage, everything's the same, just saving her some money. Now, if this individual went to a Plan N, we were able to get her a Plan N for $156.50 a month, which is going to save her $78.37 a month. And now we're getting into some more significant savings, saving her $940.44 a year by going from the Plan G just down to that Plan N. Okay, so we looked at a female example. Let's look at a male. So this is a male who's 72 years old, been in the system a little bit longer probably, and in Texas, 75001 is the zip code. Now this gentleman was paying $194.94 for his Plan G. So this is interesting because this also shows you the price differences from state to state. Here's a person who's 69 years old, they're younger, and they were paying way more in California than this gentleman is in Texas, okay? So the rates vary very differently depending on what state you live in. So we shopped for him, we found him another Plan G, and we're able to take him from $194 pretty much down to $148 a month for that same Plan G, saving him a little over $46 a month, $555 a year. But if this gentleman wanted to go to a Plan N, we could get him a Plan N as low as $107.67. That's saving him almost $88 a month for $1,047 worth of savings in a year. Okay, so pretty significant. Let's look at our last example here. We have a female, 70 years old in Florida. So we kind of did a West Coast, a Central, and an East Coast example. She was in zip code 32605. And she was paying $224.74 a month for that Plan G. Well, if we shopped her to another Plan G, took her down to $183.70 a month. So it's saving her a little over $40 a month, a little around like $492 a year, okay? If she went all the way to a Plan N, we could get that for $136.51 a month, saving her $88 a month and over $1,000 a year. So $1,058 in a year that this person person saving. So you can see, especially if you're on a budget where every penny counts, saving $1,000 a year could be a huge deal, and you're still going to have great coverage. You still have a supplemental Medigap plan, and it just takes a few minutes to check and see if you can get a better rate. So let's just address some of the common fears people have. And really, don't worry. If you try and go through medical underwriting and shop and switch plans, your current carrier is not going to know. It's not going to impact your current coverage. So we always tell people, if you do shop and compare, make sure you pass medical underwriting before you cancel your old supplemental plan. Sometimes, again, people worry that their coverage is going to change. Your coverage is not going to change. It doesn't matter which carrier you're with. A G covers like a G, an N covers like an N. And again, customer service, if you work with us, will be your customer service. So this isn't so much as a concern with like Advantage plan companies where you have to worry about prior authorizations and are they going to pay or are my networks going to switch, because that's not really a concern when it comes to supplemental plans. So if you think you're overpaying, it's worth it to check. You can go to our medigapcompare.com. And you can check right there and see in like 60 seconds if you could make it through underwriting or not. It's going to ask you a couple of questions and if you could qualify to get a better rate, or give us a call and one of our guides are happy to talk with you. But there's no reason to overpay for your insurance. You should try and shop and get the best rate possible, and you have those dollars to use for other places and still have great medical coverage. Now, if you want more information on how supplemental plans work and specifically the difference between supplemental plans and Advantage plans, you can check out this video.